Why would a good and loving God allow sin at all? Why would he just allow evil to run rampant across the entire planet? So many bad things have happened to me in these past few weeks and months. It just makes me question. Well, I'm actually here to debunk and completely shatter that mindset. So that first question, why would he tell us not to sin and then turn around and allow evil everywhere else? Well, he doesn't. And he never will, because it doesn't work like that. So we have two topics, one subtopic, and then I'll give a conclusion at the end. Topic number 1. What even is sin? Sin is the absence of God, the same as darkness is the absence of light. Where sin is, he is not. Simple as that. Sin is a null and void area with no meaning, no worth. Absolutely nothing is there. If he were to allow sin, that implies the fact that he created it. God can do everything, right? He can do everything. But he can't do anything illogical, like making a square circle. How do you expect him to make a void, right? How do you expect him to make a vacuum in space? But he can destroy and delete and withhold what was once there, effectively rendering it void. What this means essentially is that he can withhold himself from areas of your life. And the void that's left in those areas is sin, because you've sinned. So then, what exactly provokes God to withhold himself from us and leave us a void of sin to deal with in his place? That leads us into the next topic, topic number 2. And this one's a classic. You guys, I'm sure many people have heard this thousands of times, and if you didn't get it, that means you just gotta listen. Topic number 2 is free will. I know that's pretty cliche, but it's true. We already know that sin is an area that God's not in, and that it's worthless because there's no God there to give it worth. That brings in the question, why did God select the most random things to call sin? Like, why can't we murder, steal, lie, blaspheme, fornicate, or even use drugs? Like, why is that sinful? It sounds crazy saying that, but if you really think about it, what makes those things bad? And why does God say not to do it? Let me ask you this. If you were a loving God who respected the choices of your people, would you participate in the destruction and defiling of theirs and others' soul, body, mind, and spirit? I'll give you time to think about that. No, actually I won't. The answer is no. Absolutely not. Because then you wouldn't be a loving God. You wouldn't be a loving God at all. So then, why doesn't God remove sin when he spots it? Firstly, he's the one to withhold himself from whatever area somebody chose to sin, which would be essentially choosing something over God. Since he withholds himself from that area, it leaves a void. It's completely devoid of God. Now, just genuinely think of how he would remove sin in that case. Well, he can't remove something that isn't there. He'd have to keep himself in that area of the person's life. And that's just logical. Like, you can't remove space. You can't remove a void. You have to add something to it. That's what God would have to do to essentially, quote unquote, remove all evil. But is that free will? No, that's tyranny. That's not free will. That's tyranny. You chose sin. You chose something over God. You say, hey, I don't want you here. So he respected that. And so he moved out of that area of your life, leaving a void of sin to form. So if somebody sinned and he didn't remove himself, they'd feel the absolute contrast between his perfect 100% and sin's 0%. That would be hell on earth with a present God. Like, that would just be absolutely insane. He might as well have put a shock collar on everybody. And now for this subtopic. We're going to be talking about hell this time. Hell is a place that God is completely absent in. It's a void that all sin will eventually be locked in. It's not an area he sends humans to because he feels hurt that they didn't accept him, though he is immensely hurt by it. He sends those who decided they wanted to participate in a life devoid of godliness to a place devoid of godliness, like they wanted. For the conclusion, God doesn't allow sin, and quite frankly, has no relationship with sin. He can't even interact with it, since it's literally just a space he isn't in. And he loves us so much that he'd rather risk constantly moving out of his way and withholding himself from us to let us do what we want with liberty than to live forever in heaven playing dolls with people who never chose to be with him. Like, thank you, God. Last thing, would it really even hurt to at least try to do what he wants? You'll waste nothing, not even time, unless you're doing it with a dishonest heart. The only person you could blame is yourself anyways, but remember this always. Where sin is, grace abounds even more. Romans chapter 5, verse 19 through 21. Where sin is, grace abounds even more. No matter how much you don't choose God, he still has grace on you. He still wants you. Really, he still wants you.